actor who played Bishop Tony in the film. Let us all welcome Mr. Tirso Cruz III. A big round of applause, everyone.
Hi, good evening. I'm very glad to be here with you people, and I hope you get to enjoy the movie. I was a bit younger then, 10 years ago, and this is a very memorable movie for me, not only because of the role that I played, but more so having the chance to be directed by Eric Mati and to work alongside one of the if I may say so, one of the best actors that we have in Philippine movies, si Mr. John Lloyd Cruz. And so, yun lang po. Thank you very much, and let's enjoy the movie.
Thank you, Sir Tirso. Of course, we also call on next the president of Reality Studios who made Philippine stories be known in the global scene. Let us all welcome President Dondon Monteverde.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for coming to the show. So, it's been exactly 10 years now, according to Eric, no? We showed it 10 years ago na August, ganun din. Medyo excited kami to show everyone this remastered version. Again, enjoy na lang kayo. I don't want to keep everyone waiting.
Thank you very much, Sir Dondon. And of course, last but not the least, the visionary director whose works continue to shed light on social issues. We have Direk Eric Mati.
Hello, good evening everyone. We never expected na may ganito pa kami. We wanted to give Honor Thy Father another life. When we started discussing, when me and Don started discussing, maybe we can do another version of it. It's not because it's not because I'm saying no to the original version. It's not that. But in this day and age of digital and parang everything is just a bit too easy on the workflow in terms of making movies, wouldn't we all want to see the possibilities of where we can bring our movies, even if it's good or not? Diba? We've seen the Ridley Scott na not that I'm saying na Honor Thy Father is like the Ridley Scott cut of Blade Runner, wherein there's probably 4 of it, no? And even the Coppola cuts with the extended Apocalypse Now, Apocalypse Redux, etc., etc. This one, I didn't do any changes on the cut. When we looked at it, we realized, oh, okay, and we have all the materials that we can rearrange, no? But when we looked at the cut, I thought, I think we're happy with the cut. But what we wanted to explore was the music and the sound that went with it from the original cut. The original one was a bit too quiet. It was parang rumbling from underneath. The feeling of John Lloyd's character Edgar is sort of trying to get out of the surface and is finding a way to get out of it. A bit more emotional. This time around, we went to go and find the sound and music that would highlight the kind of darkness that Edgar's character would have. And whether it's successful or not, you be the judge, but yeah, we present it to you. Now, for the black and white cut, ang black and white, it was originally shot. The cinematographer of this is in the other room, is in the other cinema, si Bear Cruz. I always looked at his cinematography as leaning towards working on a black and white na palette. No? And of course, us having a movie that's gonna be showcased in MMFF, you know, and trying to find as much audience for our film, we wanted to give it all the possibilities sa box office. But this time around, that we're just, you know, showing you exactly how we want to see it this time around, we opted to regrade it into black and white, and hopefully it works better emotionally. I don't know. I've been too close to this. I've been working on this for 2 years. I've been too close on this 2 years because I'm so scared about the new version, and I keep on going back to the sound guys, to the music guys, changing, bringing up this, changing the color, etc., etc. So I hope this one now, it's out in the open. You be the judge, you see it, and enjoy as much as you could. Thank you.
Thank you very much po, Derek, Eric, Mati. And I know you're all very excited to watch the film, so I won't hold you off any longer. Okay, just a quick photo. There you go, a quick photo with the director and of course the cast of the...
But I think they're not available tonight. Baka nag-isip kayo ng... Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much po, of course.
Bunch. Parang I keep on going back to that style of filmmaking every once in a while if the movie doesn't have money. when we don't have enough budget, it becomes like a still frame, a more quieter movie. And so, like with Honor, the challenge was how to tell a heist movie that was different from how we usually see a heist movie, right? And since the writing of it, it was really just about following Edgar's character from beginning to end. So how do we tell a story of a heist movie with Edgar in it na siya lang from sa simula ng frame hanggang sa dulo ng frame? It's not an easy way to shoot a movie. I think kung pinalabas yan before, and I'm sure kung pinalabas yan nung MMFF at ipalabas siya ngayon, I'm sure kahit hindi siya black and white, I'm sure it's gonna be tough to find an audience with a younger crowd, no? Meaning, I'm scared that they might get impatient with the movie because it's not as hectic editing wise or pacing wise. It sort of just unravels for the characters, and you need a little more. You need to look at the entire frame and enjoy the images more than, you know, enjoying the way it's cut together. Minsan lang, I think Quaresma was the next one where we had fun telling the story as precise as we can. Because in the age of, you know, EGL, etc., you're forced to do 2 cams. If you look at the movie, parang pang isang camera lang siya, and we shot it with 2 cameras, pero parang the second camera is really a second shot and not just a follow-up to the hindi lang siya parang sayang gamitin natin yung isang camera. So we couldn't afford that luxury anymore with the EGL, with all those. Kailangan talaga 2 cam lagi, 2 cam, and then the more you gather coverage, no, as opposed to a more specific storytelling, pag nag-iipon ka ng coverage, it will not look this way.
Yeah, but
Good evening po, Derek. Congratulations po. Derek, I'm Andrew of Smash That Screen po pala, by the way. I watched the original release po 10 years ago. So, hindi ko alam, Derek, kung secret ba to or ano. May nabalitaan lang ako, Derek, na it was originally envisioned to be released sa black and white noong 2015. And then, ang question ko po direct is, bakit po hindi nyo natuloy ito, yung original na vision?
Well, remember, it's the first time John Lloyd got out of Stars ABS-CBN. There was a long back and forth because John Lloyd already said yes, ABS didn't want to allow him, but John Lloyd's, and then John Lloyd's contract. So, I'll backtrack a little bit more. So, John Lloyd is originally, nasaan si Gerald? Wala dito. Okay. John Lloyd is originally Gerald in On the Job. So he already said yes. When we were done writing, when we were done with the script of On the Job, the original On the Job, I sent the script to only two people. One is Piolo and one is John Lloyd. And I said, you choose your roles. And fortunately, they picked not the same roles. Piolo picked the cop role where he eventually played it. And then John Lloyd picked the prisoner role. And then, but because he was then the boy next door, charming, di ba, box office, one more chance guy from ABS, they wouldn't allow him to do a heavy-handed action prisoner movie. So eventually it went to Gerald. So we've been talking about, sige, next time siguro meron pa tayo magagawa, ganun. And then when this project came in, we offered it to him, and he was still with ABS, and he said, hindi ko na naman magagawa yan, ganun. But we weren't able to do it immediately. When his contract with ABS lapsed, di ba nag-lapse doon, yung contract niya? Nung nag-lapse yun, si John Lloyd, through a broker, which kilala namin ni Philbert, through a broker, si Erwin Romulo, we sat down again and discussed this project, which was made possible. So, in order for him to do this, he didn't sign up with ABS first. So he talked to ABS, and I'm not gonna sign up until I finish this movie. And when I'm done with this, I'll go back to ABS. So ito yon. But it was tough for John Lloyd because it's the first time he did a movie outside of the studio system na syempre iba yung working style outside of a studio. No, parang minsan wala kang tent, walang mga perks, di ba? Nandun na kayo sa isang kwarto, matugo yung mga oras, mahahaba. No? So he had a baptism of fire dito sa project na to.
Direk, curious lang po, kwento niyo lang po sa amin kung gaano po naging tedious or like what was the process converting it from the colored version to the now black and white version.
Okay, so going back again to your original question, no, it's the first time we worked with John Lloyd, and hindi pa namin alam na MMFF yun, no, but we also wanted to give the movie a chance at the box office. No, we're straight from yung parang kinetic na On the Job. And this one, from the very beginning, we knew it was gonna be like a little more slow burn, mabagal na movie. So we wanted the movie to have a chance at the box office without sacrificing pace, edit, ano. We figured we should show it in color. No? But if you looked at the original, colored nga siya, pero parang black and white na rin siya yung original. Di ba? And when we thought of reviving it again in the cinemas, this time around, we talked to SM, kasabayan ng Ghibli. So una kausap namin yung SM for Ghibli because we're also distributing Ghibli for SM. And then, isiningit namin yung Honor as a project. And then they said, oh sige, pwede. Kasi sabi namin, sayang 10-year anniversary na niya. So they said yes. So when they said yes, itong black and white na to, we've done it probably 2 years ago, but we've been tweaking up to now. No, we've been tweaking up to 2 months ago. Yung sound, last week lang, nagtutweak pa ako ng sound pa isa-isa. Kasi last week, we did an entire viewing dito ng cut na to, and we listened to it, we tried to see kung may mga problema pa sa sound. And we adjusted it last week. Yan.
Okay po, thank you po, Direk.
Thank you.
Any other questions po? Okay, we have one over here.
Hello, good evening po. My question is for any of you po who would want to answer. So now that it's been 10 years, and congratulations po on the remastered release, I just wanted to ask if nagbago ba yung feelings nyo about the relevance of the film from then versus now? Do you think it still holds its gravity from then to now? Para po sa inyo, what do you think po?
Siguro, the only thing talaga na iba talaga, pinapanood ko siya, a couple of times, pinanood ko ulit today. Parang nakita ko, napansin ko talaga yung hard work. I mean, it's a slow burn film, but makita mo kasi yung hirap na dinaanan ng mga artista. From John Lloyd to Tirso to Meryl, di ba? Parang makita mo talaga na unti-unti talaga nila kinayod yung characters nila dito, which is sometimes during that time pa, hindi pa masyado uso, siguro 10 years back, VFX is so expensive, di ba? Pero times now, different, di ba? So, makita ko talaga na everything was done practical, parang, shit, mauulit pa ba natin ito na ganitong klaseng filmmaking? Di ba lahat ngayon, VFX,
Sa EGL lang,
or papunta na tayo sa AI stage, di ba? Parang minsan nakakatuwa rin naman na makakita ng ganito klaseng pelikula na pinaghirapan. Na wala kang application na dinaan talagang pure filmmaking talaga.
Pero marami na ngayon magre-reklamo sa pinagdaanan ng John Lloyd. Totoo yung pinagdaanan niya, walang daya yun. Yung mga gapang,
Yeah.
yung mga, lahat yun. And he would always come out of the cave. Totoong cave yun eh. He would always come out of the cave na may galos, no, left and right. Sila ni Dan Fernandez, ni Pum Labrusca, ni
Yeah.
Khalil
Yeah.
Ramos. And when the camera is really far, gumagapang sila. Totoong gumagapang sila papunta dun. Walang foam, walang ano. No? And yeah, it's a tough shoot. It's really a tough shoot. And with rain, may rain talaga. Walang kanyan.
What about po in terms of story? Do you still feel very close to it, or the relevance po of the story? What do you think about that po?
Parang mas galit itong version na to kaysa sa...
Hindi, siguro kasi ang laking effect ng black and white. Para sa akin, na iba, I'm trying to recall yung nung unang linabas namin at saka ito. It actually enhanced the situation more. Kasi sabi nga ni Direk, di ba? It's a heist story, pero heist sa third world. At saka sobrang third world, di ba? Yung yung hirap makikita mo. And then, also, sabi nga, pagka inintindi mo yung story, di ba, when he went home to his family, di ba? Yung sandali lang yung pinag-usapan, and they knew they were going to do something that would really, try their prowess and everything. Yung hirap nila. Ako kanina, pinapanood ko, iniisip ko lang, di ba? Gagapangin ko yung lugar, tapos I mean, even the shots, direct, pasalamat din nga akong galing ng cameraman mo. Pati yung shots kasi mas nahihirapan kayo sa projection ng pelikula. Yung pinakita yung hirap talaga nung pinagdaanan nila. So, I think para sa akin, ito mas, gaya sinabi na rin mas angry itong version na ito na ipakita. Although, of course, makita mo pa rin yung beauty of the cinematography, di ba? The shades, black and white. Kasi iba yung colored eh. Di ba? Yung colored, ang dami eh. Pero ito, dalawa lang yung pinaglalura mo, shades lang to. And of course, yun nga, yung istorya na ganito talaga sa totoong buhay, yung hirap na pinagdadaanan ng maraming tao na nasa sa ganung sitwasyon na naitulak na maging na forced siya, hindi ba, na puwersa siya.
I think din, yung, alam mo, mas pakiramdam ko na highlight yung pag-uwi niya ng bahay niya sa kasama niya yung pamilya niya. Yung parang, mas naramdaman mo yung parang, oh, he needed that. Parang kailangan niya makita yung pamilya niya. Galing doon sa pinanggalingan niya. Parang,
Yung struggle talaga ng characters. Mararamdaman mo while you're watching.
Thank you po so much.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, over here in the first row.
Magandang gabi po. Ako po si Carl. Nais ko po kayong batiin sa napakaganda mong pelikula. Aminado po ako na at ngayon lang po o ito po ang unang beses ko na panood ito. Nagpapasalamat naman po ako na itong introduction ko o itong version na to ang naging introduction ko sa pelikulang ito. Nais ko lang po sanang tanungin, no, masasabi niyo po ba, sadya po ba, kasi napaka-interesante po sa akin ng ideya na maaari naman...
napakaganda ng boses.
Maraming salamat. Napaka-interesante po kasi sa akin ng ideya na maaari naman po silang umalis at napag-usapan o napagtalunan po nila itong mag-asawa. Sadya po ba o masasabi niyo po na ang karakter pa ni Edgar ay maaaring biktima rin po ng sistema na tinutulagsa niya? Kasi maaaring po silang umalis pero itong ego, itong dignidad na maaaring pinapangalagaan nila na hindi niya maiwan-iwan o nais pa rin nilang manatili doon. Ito po ba ay parang sanhi ng institusyon o parang pinataw ng institusyon ng paniniwala kaya hindi pa rin po sila umalis sa lugar na iyon? Ayun lamang po.
Without answering your question, I mean, it's something that you can do once you get home, siguro, analyzing it. But si John Lloyd, when he refused to leave, is really within his character. Because he's kind of an emasculated, diba? An emasculated, softened version of him when he was in Baguio. But his real side is the one that's keeping him from just surrendering their family to the ones who are seeking retribution sa kanila. So parang siya, hindi. Sa amin, sa pamilya namin, hindi kami ganito. Hindi kami push over, hindi kami... So alam mo yan. So there's a side to him that's like that. And it's slowly unraveling, no? I mean, he was such a giver in the beginning of the story, but slowly he started to take back things for himself and for his family.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay, next question. Any more over here? Mic, please.
Direk, anong instruction mo kay Mikey? Anong sinabi mo sa kanya?
Dalawa lang. So the instruction is, and he did several versions until we ended up with this. The first instruction is, I wanted his domesticated story of Edgar, and the music bringing him to the more paganistic, more, Cordillera version of him, which is Egay. That's one. The second one is, in the original music of Erwin, it sort of underlines, parang the music helped soften si Egay's character. Parang the music made him feel more like a victim and a bit more helpless. Ang dito, which is leaning towards a more genre, sipin mo na siguro, First Blood, papunta sa kay Rambo, di ba? Nung iniipit na sa papuntang First Blood, papuntang Death Wish ni Charles Bronson. Alam mo yun, it's underlining deep down inside yung dark side ng Egay as a character. That without revealing where he's going to, middle of the movie, where he ends up going back to his home with his family, without knowing that, the music informs us already early on that there's something brewing underneath his psyche. Parang ganun. Without sounding parang pa-serious. No? Yeah.
I have a question naman po for Mr. Tirso Cruz III. Especially the Philippines po is known to be a very religious country. Were there any challenges or hesitations po in portraying the character of Bishop Tony?
Well, it was a cross between the interest to do such a role and at the same time as a person, kasi I'm a born again Christian. So since matagal na, marami na nga akong nakita situation na gano'n. And of course, every now and then, we get news, lalo na worldwide, di ba? Meron yung mga sinasabi nga na sa States, meron yung mga pastors who are preaching the sea of green. Di ba? Yung nanghihingi sa mga tao ng pera, but basically, yung greed nila nangingibabaw pa rin later on. So, nung binigay sa akin ni Direk nga yung role at saka ni Don na sabi ko, this is very challenging because partly it goes against my belief na hindi ako dapat na ganun klaseng tao, yung pastor na ganun. Pero I felt like this is just to show the other side also nung character na yun. Mababait ng mga pastor. I believe most pastors are really God-fearing and talagang they're working to help out the church and to really spread the word of God. Pero unfortunately nga, in this world where we live in, worldwide, there are good people, but there are still people who are evil and who are more concerned about what they get out of other people. So, mas naging challenge sa akin, tsaka yung pagiging pastor nga, sabi ko, I've been listening to pastors for so many years all my life, and ito gagawin ko ngayon, ako yung magpipreach, ako yung kung walang nga pala akong tao, hindi ba, gagamitin ko talaga yung Diyos para maniwala ang mga tao sa akin. Pero behind the preaching, behind what I'm trying to show the people, ang iniisip ko yung akin itong perang ito, mapupunta sa akin to, gagamitin ko to. And so there was this, while I was doing all of this, that was at the back of my mind. So it was a mixture of trying to project a pastor, pero at the same time then thinking na kung wala niya akong tao, kung wala niya akong pastor, I can still get away with this pala. Pwede ko palang gamitin talaga Diyos na sa kawalangyaan na maabuso ko ang mga kapwa ko. But the challenge was there, and of course yun nga yung to be given a role na ganito. I mean, it doesn't, pag pinag-usapan natin yung role as an actor, you don't get to land roles na ganito kaganda na laging very challenging. So nung malaman ko nga, sabi ko, ayoko pa kawalan to. I was very, very thankful nga na akong napili nilang lumabas na
Ang ganda talaga
Bishop
ng
Tony.
portrayal niya kasi hindi black eh. Yung parang there's something sinister but not really, alam mo yun, parang napaka-gray. He's still very human. Hindi, di ba? Hindi siya yung parang
Believable. Pero scheming, di ba? So parang talagang makakita mo talaga the multifaceted talent of siya po si Pearson. Kaya siya talaga yung choice namin for the role.
Any other questions over there at the back? Can we have a mic, please?
You know how surprised I am that so many people, I mean, I expected less. So many people, when I posted about Honor Their Father, the re-release, are saying, oh my God, I saw this in the cinemas. So, okay na ako na kahit hindi mo napapanood kasi parang dami naman palang.
But yes, so I guess this remastered version honestly was just amazing. It was still, but it was also very, I felt the emotion that you were trying to evoke. I guess being stripped of color as well, we were forced to see a story that was really playing more with lights and shadows. And one particular moment for me was like, yung nagbe-weld siya tapos parang tinawag na siya paalis. Sobrang ganda nung like, biglang nakita yung light tapos ay, unfinished pa siya. And like, I guess, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the re-edit and seeing this in a new light. What was a scene that you think you've seen in a different light and thought that you were able to evoke a heavier or like, I don't know, like a lighter emotion than what it was before? And parang a moment that you thought na, yeah, it was made for black and white talaga, and this was what I was trying to do back then, 10 years ago. And off-tangent question, what films were you watching when you were like getting inspired for this film?
Ito talaga, There Will Be Blood. This movie is really There Will Be Blood. No, it's not There Will Be Blood. Okay, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, I kept on rewatching There Will Be Blood. No, and I think There Will Be Blood can stand as a black and white as well. No, I don't know if you'd agree, pero generally it's also like parang singular, parang monotone. No? Yung scene, hindi siguro one singular scene because of the black and white. I think without intending it so, even if our cinematographer, si Ber, also knew about our intention na sana black and white to, no? I mean, sayang, dapat black and white to, gano'n. He lighted it. Can you see, ang laki talaga, ang ganda ng pagka-separate ng scene na ni Tito Pip dun sa kanya, sa misa niya, because it's the most stark lighting wise of all the black and white, di ba? And then everything else is light and shadow, gano'n, no? Pero pagdating sa eksena na yon, it's all parang walang ka-shadow, di ba? It's all just well lit. So that's when I realized na ang ganda ng contrast, the whole film, ng black and white and yung ng kanya. I think ang appreciation ko talaga dito na nagulat ako watching it again on the big screen is the amount of extreme close-ups in the movie na I couldn't remember this much. No, nagtanong pa ako nung last, nakapagtanong pa ako eh. Sabi ko, wala naman tayong zoom dyan, di ba? Zoom in. Kasi parang ang gaganda ng mga mukha ni John Lloyd, ang ganda ng, di ba? Whenever there's an intense emotion that goes into it, we cut into a really tight close-up. And it just hits you sa, di ba, sa lakas ng emotion nila, no? Whether he's crying or whether he's angry, whether, di ba? So I think those are the scenes that matter the most. Kasi kung minsan di mo na naalala, kahit yung likod ng ulo niya yung habang nag-uusap sila kung ilang milyon yung utangin niya sa pamilya niya, that back shot na parang naiisip niya, pero hindi mo nakikita yung mukha niya, parang ang ganda ng pakiramdam niya.
Thanks, Derek. Super appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next question. Any more? Okay, over here.
Hello po. First of all, congrats po sa remastered version ng film. So, matagal ko na rin po since last na napanood siya. And I really like yung music elements po ng film. Lalo na po yung sa part ni Bishop siya ni Edgar. Dun sa yung sinasabi ni Bishop na pag may dagdag, yung music ko it adds to the So, ang gusto ko lang po itanong sa inyo direct is, what's your favorite scene na dating wala siyang music pero ngayon na-add siya ng music? Thank you po.
I was really careful. There's only two scenes in the movie that brings out what's happening to Edgar internally. And it's always done on a push-in. I seldom move the camera in this movie, but there's only two scenes wherein the camera moves into John Lloyd. One is, inatak sila ng mga nautangan ni Meryl, nasa hagdanan sila, si Meryl is trying to explain to them, and the camera, we take out the sound, and the camera is just going to John Lloyd. Parang he's realizing, oh my God, parang hindi maganda tong nangyari sa amin. The second one is that Dali In, analyzing how he could get back at him dun sa simbahan, di ba? Yan yung second. And both of those, in the original, didn't have music. And I did instruct Mikey Amistoso. Mikey is the one from Itchy Worms. He did the new music for this. The original one is Erwin Romulo. No? I did instruct him, but when I heard the latest cut, pinasukan niya ng music yung dalawa. Which, since then, iba yung music na nilagay niya. Since then, we've kept on revising it because I saw the potential of it, pero yung nalagay na music, parang sobrang lakas pa niya. Parang it takes away from the scene, from the face of John Lloyd, from the emotion of the scene. Gusto ko lang na parang it's just underlying, no? The music is just underlying. So eventually we ended up with that parang chanty, yung parang chant na ewan. And I think it works, no? Because that one is always just underlying, except when he kills the husband and wife in the end, the music swells. No, wherein it parang he lets out that dark side of him. Parang ganun.
Okay, I have a question naman din po for Sir Dondon. I'm not sure if I haven't looked back on it beforehand po, but what sparked the idea of having a remastered version of Honor Thy Father besides it being the 10th anniversary this year?
Well, like what Eric said naman, no, we didn't really change anything on the edit. No? We just wanted to show it as it is. Siyempre, parang, since we're celebrating the 10th year, we just wanted a new look lang in terms of feel. No? So, siyempre, it just, sabi nga nag-usap kami ni Eric, if it was intended for black and white, why not bring it out there, the black and white, as intended, di ba? Kasi dati hindi pa naman sobrang open ng market when it comes to black and white. So ngayon, I think, honestly, to be honest, mas open ngayon ang minds ng tao to watch any content talaga na in different colors. No? So that's where we brought it this time. Diba? Pero parang bring it there, ramdam na ramdam naman natin, di ba? Yung struggles nga na sinasabi namin sa mga, even sa acting, sa ganun, di ba? Makita natin talaga. Well, we have a film fest project. Meron kami plano ni Eric na 2 big movies, no, that we can't announce yet. Diba? Maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll announce it. It's 2 big projects for Eric.
Before the end of the month, we have a big announcement.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest announcement is so for now.
Yeah,
is
for now we're
MMFF.
working on that, Rick Manek, and you know, right now we have a film in Netflix na lumabas from our last film fest, which is Strange Frequencies in Taiwan Killer Hospital. And I heard it's doing well in other countries, so it's a good thing. Diba? I mean, it's top 10 sa Qatar, Malaysia, you know, iba. So I think like 4 or 5 countries na medyo maganda yung takbo. So yun, sana mapanood nyo. Then hopefully kasi sa amin naman sa reality, syempre, it's not just yung mga movies na ginagawa namin ni Eric na kami na we're also looking for new directors that pwedeng gumawa rin, no? Ang pelikula na maganda na.
We're releasing a Christmas movie. Totoong Christmas movie, hindi siya pinalabas lang sa Christmas. So, for the first time in a long while, di ba, we're doing a really feel-good movie.
Yeah.
So, we'll try our hand at it. Directed by
Never
Jane
pa
Castro.
namin nagawa yung medyo ganong klase, but it's an ensemble cast na parang napapanahon na gumawa ng Christmas movie for Film Fest. So parang we're showing that this Christmas. Diba? Yung lighter side namin ni Eric.
Yeah. Masaya naman. Masaya yung script. Pero kami lang yung nagsasabi doon. Hindi namin alam kung masaya pa para sa inyo.
Wala po bang any hints or clues about the upcoming movies?
Yun, antayin natin siguro in less than a month. We'll come up with a big announcement.
Bukas pa kami magmi-meeting eh. Dun sa may meeting kami bukas eh. Tapos may announcement kami next week.
Yeah.
So, malalaman, mabilis na yun. 1 week na lang yan, di ba?
Yeah.
Basta, Reconnect, I think, is what we're asking all of you to go out and watch for Christmas. It has an interesting premise. The premise is 10 days before Christmas, the internet all over the world disappeared. And so there's a bunch of characters. It's a multi-character na movie. A bunch of characters experiencing the loss of internet on the way to Christmas. Diba? Yun.
Any other questions po?